Speed could be a factor in the crash that killed the driver of a Tesla Model S that was using the autopilot feature when it slammed into a semi-truck. A preliminary report released by the National Transportation Safety Board July 26th reveals the Tesla was traveling nearly 10 miles over the speed limit May 7th when it drove under a big rig, then slammed into a power pole. Data pulled from the car indicates the driver was using the traffic-aware cruise control and auto-steer lane-keeping assistance at the time of the crash. The NTSB reports the initial impact with the big rig disengaged the battery from the electric motors, eliminating power to the car. The driver, Joshua Brown, died at the scene. He's the first known death associated with the autopilot feature. The NTSB has not revealed a final determination of the cause of the crash. An official report could take several months to complete.
Tesla Motors offered two theories to the U.S. Senate Commerce Committee for a fatal crash involving their autopilot driver's assistant feature. The crash occurred in Florida in early May along a highway. According to a source familiar with the hearing, Tesla staff members stated they are still determining what failures happened that led to the crash. The theories involve the radar and camera inputs connected to the automatic emergency braking system in the Model S. The source added the company is still determining how the sensors and other software systems failed to identify a tractor-trailer crossing the highway, which the car drove through. But the source noted the system has been designed to tune out large structures like an overpass or bridge to avoid unnecessary braking events.
The electric car maker has a lot going on and a lot to face between the $2.6 billion acquisition of Solar City and the so-called Gigafactory, a.k.a. that massive battery plant that's under construction in Nevada, and a government investigation into the fatal crash of a Tesla Model S involving its autopilot feature.
I tell you what, the viewers need to understand that autopilot is just like cruise control, just a more advanced version of it. And it was never anything that was billed as something that where you could go to sleep or read a book. Elon says we're several years from that. I'm not an employee of Tesla, I'm just an owner, but I've seen no less than 12 updates in the autopilot system since it's been released that has been downloaded to my car.
Joshua Brown loved his Tesla Model S.
The car's doing it all itself.
I don't know what I'm going to do with my hands down here. It takes all the stress out of it.
He posted 25 videos on YouTube showing off the car's self-driving feature. But in May, Brown was killed when his Tesla collided with a truck. The Tesla was in autopilot mode when it failed to detect the white truck against a bright white sky. The U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating the crash.
We do know that the brakes of the car were never engaged. And so the car hit the truck at full speed, which is an indication that the driver was completely unaware.
The crash is raising concerns about the safety of self-driving cars. Tesla says this is the first fatality related to one of its cars being driven in autopilot, that after more than 200 million kilometers being driven in that mode. The company also notes that the car warns drivers to keep their hands on the wheel at all times, even when in autopilot mode. There are about 25,000 Teslas with the autopilot function on the road in the U.S. In March, Tesla CEO Elon Musk spoke of his vision for the future of self-driving cars.
Within 3 years, the car will be able to take you from point to point, like basically from your driveway to work without you touching anything. You could be asleep the whole time and do so very safely.
Most major car makers have self-driving cars in the works.
This is what you dreamt about as a child, that you would be able to go in autonomous driven cars. And now I'm actually experiencing it. It's awesome.
Autonomous driving features are even being tested in fleets of large trucks.
The fact of the matter is the technology is not fully there and developed, especially in high traffic situations. We do not have the regulations in place to govern the technology.
Experts say one day self-driving cars will be safer than cars driven by humans, but that day is likely still years away.
Electric car maker Tesla's reported a steeper than expected quarterly loss. It said that was due to higher spending at its vehicle and battery factories. It's the 13th consecutive quarterly loss for the Silicon Valley firm. And the numbers underscore the financial hurdles it faces while taking on increasingly ambitious goals. They include a massive increase in vehicle production over the next 3 years and the planned purchase of solar panel installer Solar City. Tesla said cash flow has improved and insists it's on track for future deliveries and profitability.